Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Golden Bachelorette suitor admits he's falling for Joan Vassos. Some Golden Bachelorette men bear all this week in a striptease, but one man bares his heart and admits he's falling for Joan Vassos. With the show heating up, this admission adds a whole new level of romance and tension. Keep reading for all the details. One suitor says goodbye, leaves show. The next Golden Bachelorette is going to be a roller coaster until any other. Joan Vassos takes some of her men on a date where they strip down after learning some moves from the famous Chippendale dancers. Caitlin Bristow makes an appearance for the tawdry date that's actually for a really good cause that's close to Joan's heart. Suitor Chalk Chapel is another thing close to Joan Vassos' heart. The previews heavily tease that he leaves the show for a family emergency, like Joan did during Jerry Turner's season. But will he return to the show later in the season? Click here to find out all the details on Chalk's unexpected exit. Golden Bachelorette suitor admits he's falling for Joan Vassos. While Joan Vassos shares a heartbreaking goodbye to Chalk, another suitor confesses that he's starting to fall for her. Mark Anderson wowed viewers during his brief appearance on Joey Graziadis's season of The Bachelor. He made his TV debut during Kelsey Anderson's hometown date. Now he's about to be Joey's father-in-law. Mark Anderson can relate to Joan Vassos in a way that not all of the suitors can. Like Joan, Mark lost his spouse of many years to cancer. Joan's husband died of pancreatic cancer in 2021. Mark and Kelsey lost Kelsey's mom to breast cancer in 2018. He's finally ready to find love again, and with his daughter's encouragement, he joined the Golden Bachelorette to woo Joan. Mark is part of the Chippendale date, but he also bears his heart during a phone call with Kelsey. 6 ABC Philadelphia shared an exclusive clip of the check-in. "I'm telling you, this has been the best time in the last 6.5 years," Mark said to his daughter about his experience in the Bachelor Mansion so far. He gushed over Joan. "When I'm with Joan, I feel great. She's so there with each conversation, and she just remembers so much." Kelsey Anderson encouraged her dad to enjoy his time on the reality TV show. "I'm just so happy for you, Dad, and I hope that you continue to make the most of this experience, and I hope I see you soon at hometowns." The late afternoon sun cast a warm, golden hue over the Tuscan villa, where emotions had begun to match the romantic setting of the Golden Bachelorette. Wine glasses clinked, laughter danced across the courtyard, and under a canopy of delicate lights, Joan Vassos found herself caught in a moment of unexpected vulnerability. Her heart, carefully shielded over the years, was now starting to thaw. But it wasn't just the atmosphere. There was a particular suitor who had managed to do what she thought was impossible. Inside the villa, the remaining men were gathered, enjoying a rare break from the emotional roller coaster of the journey. As Joan mingled with her suitors, sharing moments of light conversation, a noticeable tension simmered in the air. They all knew that soon enough, the facade of casual charm would have to break. Feelings were deepening, and tonight, for one man in particular, the stakes were higher than ever. Gregory "Greg" Lawson, the dashing 58-year-old financial advisor from Napa Valley, leaned against a stone wall, watching Joan with an intensity that hadn't been there before. He had been cautious since the start. Charming but guarded, affectionate but not vulnerable. But tonight, something had shifted in him, something undeniable. As Joan moved closer to him, her soft laughter filling the air, Greg knew that it was time. Joan's gaze caught his, and she smiled, a subtle invitation for a private conversation. Greg's heart raced, his mind swirling with what he was about to say. This wasn't part of his plan, not so soon at least, but sometimes life throws you off balance in the most beautiful ways. As the rest of the men settled into their drinks and chatter, Greg motioned toward a quiet garden terrace, away from prying eyes. Joan followed him, curiosity flickering in her hazel eyes. There was something different about Greg tonight. His usual playful confidence had softened, replaced by an unmistakable gravity. The air was fragrant with jasmine and the hum of cicadas, adding to the sense of intimacy. Once they were alone, Greg turned to face her, his expression serious but tender. "Joan," he began, his voice lower than usual, "I need to tell you something. It's something I didn't expect to feel, at least not yet. But if I don't say it now, I'm afraid I'll miss my chance." Joan's heart skipped a beat. She was no stranger to these kinds of conversations on the show. But something about Greg made this moment feel different. Real. She met his gaze, her breath catching as she prepared herself for what he was about to say. "I'm falling for you," Greg confessed, his eyes locking with hers. "I didn't think I'd feel this way when I signed up for this. I thought it was too practical. But then I met you. You're different. You've made me feel things I haven't felt in years. And I can't hold it in any longer." Joan's heart fluttered, her chest tightening as she processed his words. She had known for a while that Greg was someone special, someone who saw through her walls and into her heart. But hearing him say it, so raw and real, made her emotions swell in a way she hadn't anticipated. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "I didn't expect this," she admitted softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Not here, not now. But with you, Greg, I've felt something too. I don't know what to do with it yet." Greg stepped closer, his hand gently reaching for hers. His touch was warm, grounding her in the moment. "You don't have to decide anything right now, Joan. I just needed you to know. I couldn't keep it in anymore, not when we've come this far." Joan looked down at their intertwined hands, feeling the weight of his words, his feelings. For so long, she had kept herself guarded, convinced that love at this stage in her life was fleeting or at best, complicated. But Greg's sincerity made her question that. "I've been through a lot," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I've learned to protect myself, to be cautious with my heart. But with you, Greg, it's been different." Greg smiled, the tension in his shoulders easing a little. "That's all I need to hear," he said softly. "Just that it's different with me. We'll figure the rest out, Joan. We got time." The garden was silent except for the distant murmur of the others inside the villa. Joan looked up at Greg, her heart racing but her mind clearer than it had been in days. She was standing at a precipice. One foot in the world she had known for years, safe, controlled, predictable, and the other in the unknown, where feelings were messy and life was lived in the moment. For the first time in a long time, she wanted to leap. But before she could say anything more, Greg took a step back, giving her the space she needed. "I'll let you process this," he said with a small, knowing smile. "I know it's a lot, but just know, I'm here. Whatever you need." Joan nodded, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. She watched him walk away, his figure disappearing into the villa, leaving her alone with her thoughts. She had come on the Golden Bachelorette hoping to open her heart again, to find a connection that would reignite the spark she thought she had lost. And now, standing under the twilight sky, with Greg's confession still echoing in her mind, she realized that maybe, just maybe, that spark had already found her. As she walked back toward the villa, the weight of the night settled around her. Greg's words had pierced through the layers of fear and doubt she had built up over the years. He was falling for her. And while she wasn't ready to say it yet, Joan knew she was falling too. Maybe love, even at this stage in life, was simpler than she thought.